G'day guys, Rod from Sacred Knowledge Energy Tools here. Just thought I'd give you a bit of a heads up on, we're supposed to expect quite a big weather system later this week in from sort of North Queensland down to sort of southeast Queensland. So as you know, no one really knows where it's going to hit or how much, but we're expecting some pretty big falls. So I would highly recommend that anyone who has harmonisers start using them and switching them on. And those that don't have them might want to look into investing in them. Not that it necessarily will stop everything, but it will certainly lessen the amount of flow by a huge amount. Especially when you're running things like the rain bomb frequency set that we recommend. But on top of that, you know, the harmonisers themselves do a lot more than just weather, but they also work to, you know, help plant growth, transmute the water and the toxins in the soil, and a whole range of things that they do. That any of you that have ever studied any of Slim Sperling's early findings would know that. But the other thing is that they also work very well to pacify the energy in areas where there's a lot of drama and crime, etc. too. So, and we've seen physical proof of that. In fact, where we moved from it, originally the crime rate dropped by, I think it was, I can't remember the exact percentage, but it was quite a large percentage twice in the time that we were there while we were running these devices. And there was other tests done overseas in South Africa, etc. But so yeah, it does. It has an impact on life as a whole, not just weather. But you know, works on healing the body. It works on transmuting toxins from the air and the soil and the water. It increases plant growth, and animals heal in that energy. It attracts wildlife to that area. Your pets, you'll find your pets attracted to it. You know, there's a whole range of things that they do. But getting back to that weather system, I had a few people concerned that they can't get their harmonisers to run properly when they're plugging them into a phone, for instance, especially the iPhone. Well, I've played with these devices more than probably anyone I would know, and I can tell you, these adapters are rubbish. They'll work sometimes they won't, like that, you know. They're so unreliable. It's there it goes, it just stopped. So that's working, and if I move that slight bit, it'll stop, you know. They're just so unreliable, which is why I pretty much stopped doing that, and I just went to these cheap little Android phones that have a plug in the top. So I'll turn that one off, disconnect that. And there's a few different types of these adapters, but I've never had much success with any of them. You'll plug it in, you'll go, well, it's not working, it's still making a noise and everything. They should be silent when they're plugged in. So this is just one of those cheap little Android phones running the 12, 15, 17 combination, the rain bomb, and then just push it all the way in, go silent, that's running properly. Okay. If by any chance you just cannot get it to go at all, you know, you can just sit the speaker right next to the device. That will activate that regardless, which is the way Slim did it all the way through, or he'd stick little earphones and plug it into the device and stick little earphones in there. That will work. You know, you can try it in your car if any of you've got those little harmonisers. Turn it on to, you know, the classic radio, the classical music station, and you'll physically see that the sky's starting to clear above your head. But yeah, look, there's no rocket science to it. These plugs are all the same. There's no change or variation in them. If you have trouble and you're still not getting that to work, sometimes you'll have a problem with the plug in the phone. There might be fluff in there that might need cleaning out, and you're not pushing all the way in, not making contact. Sometimes if you just get a damp cloth, wet that and put it back in there, and enough to make contact and it'll work. I have got one phone like that. I mean, these are just a cheap option, and we try to keep it down as low as we can because we've got a paper programming on top of it all and all the rest of it. So, and people can program them themselves, but it just, we don't have the time to be able to talk you through it, and we're just running into so many problems. And so we just got an IT girl now, and she just does it all for us. It just makes life a lot easier because we just don't have the time to be able to sit and tell everyone how to do it, unfortunately. The other thing, I know some of you have got things like the Viper, which is like the top of the range, I guess, defensive unit. This one's, your top of the range all-rounder. So this one puts out a spherical field. Slim said out to about 2,500 miles. Well, I'm not going to disregard that, but I would say an active working range out to about 200, 250 kilometres. What I mean by an active working range is where you will physically see the edge of the field produced by the harmoniser, and you'll see the edge of the cloud field. I have physically driven from the centre where the harmoniser is to the other end till we hit the cloud field and measured it that way. I've also looked at it on a radar and measured it that way, getting an idea of what area, what towns where the edge of it was. There's various ways you can do it, but they do put out a spherical field, which are great, putting out a field over quite a large area. These things are a little bit of a different beast. So the Viper Nugiza, as opposed to the standard Nugiza, still does everything a standard Nugiza does. It just does it a little bit quicker because of the way we have this braided twist, which is that Viper twist. It's like two intertwining snakes going. It creates a loops within the wire. So these are what they call toroids. So what happens is you get little vortex spins coming out of every one of these little holes or loops in the wire. So it's not just pushing one direction, that field, because the apex is the strongest point on any pyramid. You'll also get strong points on all these corners. But the majority of the field's coming out through that apex. But what happens with these is that it pushes out through all these little toroids in all directions as well. And it basically, a thick cloud mass will chews it up like Swiss cheese, and works a lot faster. These just put out a one spherical field, where this one puts out little fields in all directions. But these are a great defensive weapon, so they can be laid down on the horizon, if you can get it up in a good position, or up on a roof, or even if you're in a high position where you live, you can line it up and sort of send it out sort of to the horizon, or even get it level to the horizon. If you've got an oncoming front, and it will physically create a V, and it will split. And you'll see that on the radar. You'll see a physical V in that storm front coming in. So yeah, they are great, and they work so well together in a combination. So this one covers your spherical field around you, and this one will go out to a couple of thousand k's when it's laying on a parallel with the horizon. So they are great devices to work together. I mean, of course, I have a few of these. So there is one bigger, which is the double Royal Nugiza Viper, which is a very big device. There's one sitting up there working, up on top of the meter box. But double this size. Unfortunately, due to the sheer size and weight, we can't post them. If we were, you end up with a crumpled mess at the other end. It's just not worth it, considering they're an $1,800 unit. So there's just kilometres of copper in them. It's crazy how much copper goes into them. But anyone who's able to pick them up, or anyone who's in an area that's close enough or somewhere where we are going, we can deliver. We can do that, but they are just phenomenal. And ask anyone who's got one, they'll tell you how good they are. But yeah, look, I just want to really touch base and say, look, just be aware that there's a big front coming. They're talking centimetres of rain, not millimetres of rain. We're talking over 100 mil a day, so we're talking a lot of water. So just be aware, be ready. If you have devices, get them on. Better to get all this stuff running prior to it getting here, because it lessens the fuel load and gives them less a chance to build it up into something worse than what it is. I think that's about it. So, any questions, contact us, get on the groups. People will help you there. I'm sure most people are more than happy to help you. And if you're interested, we try and source these phones out all the time. They're not always easy to get for the right price. We don't want to charge too much, but yeah, we're always on the lookout for them. So just contact us and ask us if we've got any programmed phones, and makes it life a lot easier because all the frequencies are already programmed in, and makes it very easy to help you out. Other than that, there is the heel flux, which can be used. There's also the CDs that we give out that can be used, put on repeat and let it run around the clock on full volume. Make sure you turn these up every day, because they do have a function in there that drops the volume, just to prevent hearing damage for people that wear earphones, which I don't know anyone who puts them on 24/7, but anyway, just remember to turn it up every day. And yeah, that's about it. Make sure it's plugged in and ready to go. Thanks, guys.